going on, young people? Thank you for coming back to my channel. This is a new series that we're going to get started called Cooking Basics. I'm basically going to take my experience in the restaurant industry, my time playing around in the kitchen, and show you some techniques that I use to cook some of my favorite food, and hopefully you guys can pick up some things as well. This first episode, though, I want to talk about some of the tools that we'll be encountering in the kitchen. More specifically, today we're going to be talking about knives. First and foremost, knives are very, very dangerous. So please be careful with these, okay? Having said that, much like in our Tool Basics series, right tool for the right job. Specific knives have specific functions, okay? I'm not gonna go through the whole litany of knives today because one, I don't have every single knife available out there, and two, I don't have that kind of time. I have 3 kids of my own that I have to deal with. So, but we're gonna go through some basic techniques in order to keep you safe and make sure you keep all 5 fingers, okay? So without further ado, let me show you my setup that I have in front of me. So as you can first see, I have a towel down underneath my cutting board, and that's gonna help prevent the cutting board from moving. A sliding cutting board is a recipe for disaster in terms of getting yourself hurt. So we want to make sure we stabilize that so it's not sliding around with whatever food you're cooking, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is how to hold your knife. Now, this is a basic chef's knife, nothing too fancy. What I like to personally do is I like to take my thumb and my index finger, and I like to hold it near the top of the blade, okay? And then I put the rest of my fingers around like so. What this does is that it gives me more control. Very, very rarely will you ever see any chef carry a knife like this. Granted, I know that's where the handle's at, and that's what you probably see in horror movies, but in the kitchen, you want as much control and stability as possible, okay? So, index finger, thumb, handle, all right? Second thing, and this is something I learned when I first started cutting, okay? The knife should very rarely, depending on what you're cutting, in this case we're talking like vegetables and stuff like that, the knife should rarely ever leave the cutting board. As you can tell, there's a natural curve to the way this knife is situated. And that's so the knife can literally roll over the cutting board, okay? And it's very important that you have a very, very sharp knife. Believe it or not, a dull knife is very dangerous in terms of cutting. The sharper, the better, all right? In fact, you should almost sharpen your knife every single time before you get ready to cook, okay? Very, very important. Dull knives can tend to stick and not allow you to, give me a second, buddy. Dull knives will sit there and, get stuck, will, flounder around because they're not cutting smoothly. A sharp knife should go through whatever you're cutting like butter, okay? That's what you want, all right? So the last thing I want to talk about, at least I think it's the last thing, unless I remember something else, is 3-finger technique, okay? So you basically want middle finger up front, index, ring finger behind, okay? And what this does is that, hang on a second, buddy. What this does is that your knuckle, right, will protect your nail, and the knuckle acts as a guide for the knife. So when you're cutting, you're holding your, whatever you're cutting, right? My knuckle, I like to have literally pressed up right against the knife. This way, I know exactly where the knife's at all time. And as you can see, my middle finger right there is tucked in a little bit. And you see how the knife is coming nowhere near my fingers because the knuckle is providing a guide. And as you're cutting, you're literally moving your hand back, right? And just rolling the knife, okay? If you've ever seen any of Gordon Ramsay's demonstrations and stuff like that on cooking, he always says, let the knife do the work. I can't even stress how important that is and why important that the knife is super sharp. Let the knife do the cutting. You shouldn't be doing this or, doing this to get, food cut. If the knife is sharp and you're using proper technique, then the knife should literally be doing everything for you, okay? So, having said that, guys, very, very important, again, and I'm saying a lot of important things because this is very dangerous and I don't want anyone to get hurt, all right? But in the beginning, and really throughout, but in the beginning, don't worry about speed. Don't try and mimic all these chefs that are sitting here just like, running through that. Not what's most important. What's most important is that you keep all 5 fingers at the end of the day. So focus on your technique, okay? Focus on the 3-finger technique on holding and keeping your fingers intact. All right. Focus on keeping the knife on the board and utilizing the curvature of the knife to just let it roll. Make sure your knife is continuously sharp. Most knife sets, when you get them, will come with some type of sharpener. Literally before every use, you should be sharpening your knife. It should be a very consistent thing. All right. And then again, different knives have different uses. All right. Right tool for the right job. So this chef knife can really handle most of your day-to-day cutting, vegetables, some meat, things of that nature. When you talk about, oh, here it goes. You have like a serrated knife. Okay, this is perfect for cutting bread. All right, especially like freshly baked bread, toasted. Again, you let the knife do the work. You want the serrated edge to just kind of start digging in and cutting down. You don't need to push because you're gonna flatten the bread. All right, you got paring knives to deal with fruit. This is good for peeling fruit. This is good for finessing with designs and stuff like that. If you're doing platters and presentations, things of that nature. So again, right tool for the right job. Practice your technique. Please, 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 I can't stress again enough. Take your time. All right. I don't want anyone commenting below that they lost a finger because I told them to do something else. So I'm begging everyone right here and now, take your time, focus on the technique. Thanks again for watching this channel, guys. It really is appreciated. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. Sorry, my son is loud. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you can be aware of new videos coming out. I'm going to try and do these as well as the other series and kind of get as much content out there for you guys. All right, but until next time, keep growing, keep learning, stay safe, stay blessed.